Hey guys, Mark here for Animus Empire. This week we're talking about the panic attack. A seemingly terrible experience, a seemingly terrible feeling, but the more you learn about it, the more you're going to realize that if you ever do get a panic attack, it's going to be one of the greatest things that will ever happen to you. First though, let's talk about what is a panic attack. It's the overexcitement of your sympathetic nervous system. That is your flight or fight response. That's what is a panic attack. That's not what causes a panic attack. If you think the overexcitement of your sympathetic nervous system causes the panic attack, then please learn about the fallacy of begging the question. And if you're a psychologist and you don't know about the fallacy of begging the question, well, then you're stupid and lazy. That's what is a panic attack. What causes a panic attack? What causes the stress that causes the overexcitement on the sympathetic nervous system? It is this. Diagrammed it out here for you. It is this, the avoidance of the anxiety, that the threat comes in, and before you can even feel it, sometimes you avoid the threat. You do that for enough time and it builds up on your neurology. It's way more stress on your neurology than just feeling anxiety, bringing the unconscious anxiety up, above the line of consciousness there, and feeling the anxiety causes way more stress to avoid it. You do that enough times, you're out somewhere in a stressful situation, something in the environment triggers it. Maybe you're in a crowded subway in the heat of July, it's stalled, there's no air, the windows are closed. There's some ugly guy standing right here. Why is it always ugly people stand next to you on the subway? And I'm not even talking about a beautiful woman. I would take a beautiful man standing next to me. That would be okay. And Ewan McGregor standing next to me, that would be much more preferable to the people who do end up tending to stand close to you. And you get a panic attack. It is an overexcitement, again, of your flight or fight response. And how do you deal with it? You accept it. You will learn to accept it. Oh no, but it feels like I'm going to die. Yeah. That's what confronting anxiety is. When I talk about confronting anxiety and I liken it to death, I don't use that term lightly. It feels like you're going to die. I don't use that term just so I can talk about the White Walkers on Game of Thrones. It feels like you're going to die. And to accept that feeling, that is how you grow. That is how you mature. A great example is from the movie Mortal Kombat. Johnny Cage, when he gets onto the boat to go to the Mortal Kombat tournament, he has all his luggage there. He has all his baggage, right? His psychological baggage. Probably the first time ever in cinema when physical baggage was likened to psychological baggage, where a physical baggage was a symbol for the psychological baggage. Later used in the Darjeeling Limited in a much worse way. But he has all this baggage and he tells Liu Kang, of course he doesn't know it's Liu Kang, he just thinks it's some servant on the boat. He says, hey boy, take care of my luggage. Clearly, Johnny Cage needs some diversity training. And what does Liu Kang do, is he takes the luggage and he throws it off. Johnny Cage is learning to deal with the loss of his identity, with the loss of who he is, because he has a lot of his identity tied up in material possessions and fame and how people see him. And he's learning to deal with that loss. So later in the movie, when he goes to fight Goro, and Goro takes off Johnny's $500 sunglasses and breaks them during the fight, or is at the beginning of the fight, the old Johnny Cage would have been thrown off. It would have upset him too much. He wouldn't have known how to deal with that loss, so he would have been unable. He would have lost his composure. He would have been unable to go on and defeat Goro by, of course, doing his signature Johnny Cage punch to the groin, which when you're 10 years old and you learn about that, it's the most fun thing ever. But that's how we do it. We learn to accept the loss, and there's really 4 steps to doing this. 4 steps to managing a panic attack when you get one. The first is to be still, like in meditation. I mean, that's what you do in meditation, is you be still. And that's how I got the idea to do this video for this week, because I'm like, hey, you know what's a really good time to meditate? A really good time to sit still and ask yourself what you're avoiding? Well, we'll get to it. Is counterintuitively when you're in the middle of a panic attack. And so what do you want to do when you get a panic attack? You want to move. You want to do something. You want to burn off, so to speak, all this nervous energy that you have. You're in a room. You want to get to another room. You're drinking one thing. Oh, maybe I'll drink another. Maybe I'll call this person. No. You want to sit still. Be as still as possible. Or if you're walking down the street, continue to walk down the street as if the panic attack is totally normal. That's what you're doing here. You're training yourself to believe that it's okay to have the panic attack. I may get to that. The second thing you do here is, that's it too, by the way, is you breathe. You breathe normally. In for 2 seconds, and then out for 2 seconds. Breathing normally. Focus on your breath if you have to at first. It's okay. It's just the overexcitation, the overexcitement of your flight or fight response. It's just your body responding to this. It's letting you know something is going on by sitting still or doing whatever it is you were doing. So let's say you're at work, continuing to work as you were working before you got the panic attack. And then you breathe like everything's okay, because maybe everything is okay. And it's so okay that what you might want to do in step 3, when you get really good at this, you exaggerate the feeling. You try to exaggerate the feeling of the anxiety. You want to get in touch with it as much as possible, because that's what a panic attack is. It's telling you, hey, you haven't been in touch with certain things in your life. Whatever it happens to be. Maybe you need to break up. You're in a relationship. You need to break up with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. Or maybe you've been single for so long, you're pretending like it's okay. You're the bumper sticker in your car says single and sassy. But it's not okay. You've been avoiding the issue. The panic is a sign. It is a symbol telling you, hey, wake up. There's something going on you're not paying attention to. And of course, that's a great 4th thing to do when you get a panic attack, is to ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What is this telling me to do? This is your initiation. You want to get weird? I read a lot of Jung, so let's start getting weird. In different cultures, in different indigenous cultures, well, it was in our culture too, that we all have initiation processes. Now in modern culture, in Western culture, we intellectualize initiation processes. We go, oh, that's unsafe. No, that's dangerous. Somebody might feel bad from that, so we don't tend to do it as much anymore. But in indigenous cultures, at least, on different continents and cultures that do not communicate with each other at all, they all have something called an initiation process. And every initiation process is exactly the same. They take a young boy, 11 or 12, about to hit puberty, or maybe he just hit puberty, and they put him in a situation where he thinks he's going to die. And everybody else in the village, they all act like he's going to die. They'll come and steal the 11-year-old boy while he's sleeping at night, the elders will, and take him out, and the moms will pretend like somebody's stealing him. Then later the elders will come back to the village and the moms will go, oh, did I do a good job? Did I make it seem real? They put the young boy in a situation, whatever the situation happens to be, it doesn't matter. The concretes are not the same, but the general principle is the same. He thinks he's going to die. Of course, everybody knows he's not going to die. They get him to deal with death. So you have to wonder. Sorry, I watched a lot of Ancient Aliens. There might be pyramids on Antarctica. You don't know. Prove to me there aren't. Anyways, you have to wonder if this initiation process is part of who we are. It has gone from culture to biology. That's what an archetype is. So if you have not initiated yourself, because there's no initiation process in our society, that's okay. You can initiate yourself, right? The structure is not society. It's within. If you have not initiated yourself by confronting the fear, by really putting yourself in a situation where you feel like you're going to die, like you get tunnel vision and you totally lose a sense of yourself. You become a different person, so to speak, while you're facing your fear. If you have not put yourself in this situation, it's kind of like your body will put you in that situation for you. Your body is saying, hey, you have not initiated yourself enough. We're going to do it for you. We're going to give you a panic attack. And it is up to you to manage the panic attack, to really sit with and be thankful. Really be thankful. I mean, that's what are you doing when you're sitting still, breathing, even exaggerating the feeling and just asking yourself what you're avoiding? This is okay. You are being thankful for this process. You are saying, in effect, thank you, God, whatever your God happens to be. Reality, ultimately, that's your God. Thank you, reality, for this panic attack. It is a sign. It is telling me to do something. It is awareness. Thank you for that. I can now use it and live in the world more effectively. I can look at the threats that I am avoiding or have been avoiding for a really long time. You know, Johnny Cage needed Liu Kang. It's not what he thought he needed, but he ultimately needed Liu Kang to throw all that luggage off so he could go on to have the self-possession, to attach enough of his identity to who he is. Not that it's bad to have material possessions. You know, money's great, but how much do you attach your identity to it? That's the question that Johnny Cage had to face. Similar to questions you had to face. I don't know what they are, but this is what you do when you get a panic attack. Be thankful when it comes up, and then you will truly see what the panic attack ultimately is. It is your call to greatness. It is your call to be as awesome as Johnny Cage.